Guys, I I never hit the unmute button. What's going on, everyone? Oh man, I'm just screwing up left and right today. Can you guys hear me now? We good now? They're just saying we can't hear you. I guess, can we still not hear? We should be able to hear now. No? Testing. Output. Okay. There we go. I screwed up, guys. Now we're good. Now you guys should be able to hear me. Oh man, this is what happens when Deirdre's not here. All right, guys. Welcome to another live stream. So this is what happens when Deirdre's not here. Deirdre is the smart one. I don't know how to do anything. I had my thing muted. I had it on the wrong mic. I gotta step my game up. Everyone, I hope you're having an amazing week. Christmas is right around the corner. Great time of year. So at 12:50, I'm on the East Coast now. So 12:50, I was like, okay, live stream starting soon. Talked to Deirdre, I was just on the phone with her, and we were just chatting and stuff. And I totally lost track of time. I was like, oh shoot, I gotta get this all set up. So I screwed that up. But anyone that lives on the East Coast or in Florida, if you ever had Wawa, let me know in the comments if you have Wawa. If you haven't, you're missing out. They're not all over the country, so I'm sure a lot of people have it. But one of the best parts about being up in Philly, Wawa. I love Wawa. All right, what's up, Connor? Connor says hi. Okay, so this week's live stream, I'll give you guys some updates on what's going on. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. If someone wants to join our live stream, Chase, I don't know if you want to hop on, my man. Let me drop a link here. Get the share button going. Just popped it in. So if anyone does want to join live, there's the link, Chase. This might be your week. Brandon asked, how can we join? Brandon, I just dropped it, so you should be able to see it now. Okay. So some updates for you guys. Some updates. Ecom business is thriving. We got the Etsy store rocking and rolling. I upped my ad budget on there to $100 a day. Unfortunately, Etsy's only spending, I don't know, like $20 at most, which is really interesting. I don't know how that works. I don't know what their situation is, but our ROAS is really high. So I wish they were just spending everything. I wish they were just blowing through that. I wish they were spending thousands of dollars. We have like a 5 ROAS. So every dollar we spend, we get $5 in revenue. So that's been great. That's been a really solid week. We processed a lot of orders. I'm a little nervous though, because I'm like, oh man. Looks like Chase isn't joining. I'm a little nervous though, because like shit, I hope like these orders don't just like stop rolling through once Christmas is over. So that's the one thing we're not sure about. But other than that, things are going great. We were looking into TikTok ads, and there's you guys may have heard me talk about this back to business program that TikTok has. Well, total scam. Not sure if others have gotten scammed by TikTok. And I'm sure it's not actually a scam, but they really did screw us. I did the back to business program, claimed the credit, and then they didn't honor the credit, and they billed my credit card instead. When I reached out to them and said, hey, we are in the back to business program, they had a bug actually on their end. And I think it was because of my ad blocker, which is a normal thing. Like some ad platforms have problems if you have an ad blocker. Entering the actual, when you try to enter the website, a lot of times the ad blocker will screw things up, and that's what I think what happened. And it didn't let me claim the credit, and I couldn't tell if the credit was claimed or not. And then it just blew through $84. on my card. We didn't get one conversion either. So I was like, you know what? Not doing TikTok ads again. Mostly because I reached out to them. They were so rude. It was like a team in China. They barely spoke English. They could care less. And they're just like, yep, sorry, guy. Sorry, guy. We don't care about saving dogs. All right, cool stuff. I see that we have a guest here. Brandon, who's been on a couple times to ask some questions. By the way, guys, Brandon has been like one of the few people that has been like really putting in the work on his agency. I can tell when someone's going to do well in business or not based off them actually taking punches, them putting in the effort. And Brandon's been really doing that. He's been pretty active. He's the most active member of our Facebook group, which if you haven't joined, MDC Facebook group, you got to get in there. So I'm going to bring him in a sec. Hey, John, what's going on, my man? Hope you're doing well. Chase says, you call it a bug. They call it a feature. No credits for you. I love it. I love it. All fired up, John. I love it. All right, Brandon, I'm about to bring you live, my man. Let me plug you in here. What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
Doing well. Can you hear me?
Now I'm having audio issues hearing you. Let me make sure it's not on my end.
Can you hear me?
Huh. That's weird. I can't tell if I'm coming through the MacBook or if I'm coming through this. Let me see something.
Hey, can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. What's up, Brandon?
Hey, you got me?
Yeah.
Hey, cool, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I just realized that these settings are weird. So it's coming through my MacBook. Let me try one thing real quick.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's probably much better. Okay. That was actually a bug. That's weird. Okay. Much better. Hear me? We're all good. Brandon, what's up, dude?
Hey, not much. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Doing good.
I got my business partner here with me, Mike. He's a little shy.
What's up, Mike? Good to meet you, man.
What's up? How's it going?
Pretty good.
I like the Saints shirt.
He's been following along. He showed me the Undercover Billionaire. We met
cool. Super cool.
Yeah.
What questions do you guys have today?
Yeah, so we have been taking the hits. As you said, I'm doing cold calling. I'm reading a book like Fanatical Prospecting to try to learn cold calling, get better at it. And now I just started Power Hours today to try to be like a little more efficient. The cold calling is definitely, a rough form of learning. But we're 3 weeks in. I think it's going pretty well. But one thing we're going to do is sort of the balance between like quality versus quantity, I guess, and kind of like, trying to find like the right balance. And so one of the things we're focused on, I've been doing cold calling. I'm just doing it 2 hours a day now. I try to get like 50 or 60 calls in. And then he's actually created like a video. So we're going to do, it's like 10-second intro that's custom, and then like a 10-second exit that's custom, and then like a 45-second kind of boilerplate in the middle, and try to make the whole video look like it's custom, and essentially reach out and then do kind of like a blitz, like an email blitz. So we try to find every, we haven't done it yet. So I'm trying to get your perspective on it. Trying to get every email address at a company. So like sometimes like 5 emails, 10 emails, whatever. And then their Facebook and their LinkedIn, and essentially blitz them and be like, hey, what's up, Mike, at Mike and the team at Mike's Dental. This is Brandon. There's a reason I created this custom video for you guys. I just checked out your website. Looks like you guys are doing things really great, have a lot of really great reviews, et cetera, et cetera. And then essentially making the whole thing look super tailored to them, I guess. So I guess I'm kind of wondering what your thoughts are on that. And then I was sort of conflicted in terms of whether or not to send it out this week or wait till the new year. That obviously people could be out of town, but also maybe things are a little bit slower, so maybe they're more likely to look at it. They're just like so many things. I guess I'm curious as to your thoughts on like that quality versus quantity and everything.
Yeah, so I love that you guys are doing that. I think anytime you can do something different that other people aren't willing to do, it separates you, right? So like if you're gonna do those types of outbound campaigns, I've actually never gotten hit with an outbound campaign like that. I've told people to try doing that. I would consider, I think we may have talked about this, but like doing something kind of funny or like using OBS, which I don't have experience using OBS, but I'm sure it's not incredibly hard to figure it out. Where you would like put their business in the background. So like that, like,
yeah, we're gonna do that actually. We have like we set up a TV and we're gonna have their website on it, like for the custom parts, and they're gonna zoom in on me for the boilerplate part.
yeah, I don't know if you were the one I was talking to and I was suggesting this, but like, you know what, it wasn't. It was someone that it was someone else, but I was telling him because he uses OBS, and it was someone that I was just like mentoring for free, and he's a super nerd, and he uses OBS, and he joined a call with me and had like a funny background. Right. And I was like, dude, you should do that when you do your calls, but like talk to them. So like if you go to like their About Us page and you have like people on their team on the About Us page, specifically them, just it'd be kind of funny to kind of, I don't know, do something weird and like talk to them or like make a joke or something like that. They're not going to forget that. They're going to be like, who's this weird guy doing this? But they're not going to forget. And it's really going to make a difference in terms of like getting all these cold calls, getting all these cold emails. Well, this is the guy that sent me that video and was like talking to me and being weird. So I think it's just something that can like separate you and at the very least make them laugh and get a reaction out of them in some way, shape, or form. So I think anything you can do to increase the odds of, you know, separating yourself and getting them on the call. Now, I don't know. I haven't done it myself, so I can't speak to success or failure of doing something like that. What I can speak to is the goal is finding people that actually need the service right now or have been thinking about it. That's going to be the most ideal lead. Getting them on a call. The sooner you can get them on a phone call, the better. So for me, I don't necessarily care about going, like, I just need to get them, I need to get an appointment scheduled, because once I get an appointment scheduled, I know that I'll have a significantly high conversion rate as long as I brought the right lead onto the call. There's a company that does this really well, and I have a lot of respect for them. It's one of the best cold emails I've ever gotten. It's very simple. And pretty much what they say is, and I think I actually teach this in the course. Like I learned, and I think I mentioned it too, that I learned it from these guys, where they offer a $25 gift card. They use Uber, which I don't like that they did that, because not everyone like needs ride sharing services, but everyone uses Amazon. Right. So I would change it to do a $25 Amazon gift card for joining the call. So pretty much what they do is again, it's in the course. You can look at the exact script, but it's pretty much just like straight to the point. Here's what we do. Here's who we do it for. And as a thank you for your time, like we'll give you a $25 gift card. If that can increase your conversion of getting someone on a call by say 10%, and let's say your close rate's 50 or 60%, then that additional 10% increase in that $25 is nominal, depending on what you're charging for your services, which, by the way, I think Kirsten asked, what's the agency that you ended up deciding on?
For me?
Yeah.
So it's One Relevance SEO agency, and our price points are $595 and $995 a month. It's like 600, 1,000. Okay, that's super cool. I'm glad that you guys were able to pivot and stuff. I know it's hard when you're like, oh shoot, I don't know if I want to be doing this or this or this or this, and I know that you grinded it out to really kind of figure this out, and this is where the cards have fallen for now. Once you start bringing in more and more leads and the ball starts rolling, then you know it's like a snowball. You're going to get more business, and then prices start increasing, and you start really building up an expertise in what you're doing. I don't know if that's your partner's job as the SEO side of things or not, but yeah, he's going to be mostly doing the fulfillment. We're kind of both doing it, and I know you focus a lot on sort of not doing the work, and I've been kind of conflicted on that a little bit myself. But I am like learning WordPress, and I am putting in a lot of time learning a lot of stuff, just because I just feel like it's going to help a lot. Like with our own website, I'm running into hiccups, setting up the payment, and because we have a WordPress site, and I don't know WordPress super well, so I'm running into all these little hiccups, and I'm like,
here's a piece of advice: make everything as easy as possible. If you're running into hiccups with like payments, do something that's easier. Like there's no reason you can't use QuickBooks, which, by the way, that's what I highly recommend.
No, definitely use QuickBooks, but I mean, I'm saying like payments like with taxes. So like we have payment using Stripe, and then when they go to Stripe and pay the subscription, if they self check out, Stripe just has it where you can't include taxes in that for some reason. I can create a custom subscription and send it.
You have to charge taxes for SEO services?
I mean, do you not? Like, aren't you?
I don't know. We don't charge taxes for development services. I have no idea with SEO. I'm not sure.
Well, if you guys don't charge taxes, then you probably don't need to. So I guess I don't need to. There's a lot of time I've spent.
Yeah.
Like 2 days.
Well, I would confirm that. I'm not a lawyer, but my dad's an accountant, and he told me I don't need to charge sales tax or anything like that for the services that we're doing. Development service a little different, but
similar though. Similar enough. Yeah.
I would talk to someone about that. Honestly, like join some Facebook groups and ask. That's all you need to do is just go to like if it were me, I would go to Austin Startups Facebook group right now and post and just be like, hey, do you need to charge sales tax for this? And then 20 people are going to respond to that. Guarantee that. And but so I don't know about recurring subscriptions with QuickBooks. I know that they can do that, but I do everything through QuickBooks instead of Stripe. And the reason for that is QuickBooks has the fastest ACH payment on the market that doesn't charge you for it. It's pretty incredible. Like when a client pays me, I have the money in the bank account within 2 days with ACH, and there's really no fees other than like what I call small. It's like 1% up to $10. And we're taking big payments, so it's kind of nominal. So like if someone's sending us $20,000 payment, we pay $10.
Right.
Because it caps at that. I don't know any other services that do that. Stripe, and what's cool with QuickBooks is like you can choose if you want them to pay with card or not. I'm a big fan of not letting people pay with card unless you're going to charge them for it. Because again, like imagine if we were using Stripe and everyone was paying with credit card. Let's say you do $1 million in revenue, take 3% of that. It's a lot of money. That's $30,000 every single year. That's close to a full-time salary.
Yeah.
Depending on who you're hiring. So that's your marketing budget right there. And people will not, we have had zero issues with people wanting to pay with cards. And if they do want to pay with card, it's very simple. We have had 2 people that requested it. We're like, okay, cool. And we just added a credit card fee. It was like, yeah, like we don't do credit cards, but if you want to, we just charge you the 3% fee. And then we just add a line item, 3% credit card fee. So that's what we're doing. But cool stuff. So the question though was around what do I think about that game plan? I think that's awesome. I would get that out today. I know it's getting late in the day, but I would bang those campaigns out ASAP and just start testing. Like don't go too crazy on like figuring out like, oh, is this going to work? Is this going to work? I would just start doing it and just see what works and what doesn't. It could be like the first part of your funnel too. Like just because you send that message and then you don't get responses doesn't mean you can't still cold call them.
Sure. Right. Now let me ask you this. So my partner and I are like a little bit at odds in terms of, and I think you think more like he's thinking, and I do see the logic in it, but where he's kind of wanting to just keep moving quickly, even though, sometimes like every time we're about to land a customer, it's like we run into some kind of like silly issue because we're early on, like with PandaDoc sending out the contracts or, making sure the subscription is going to be recurring or like, whatever, all the little pieces.
Yeah.
And then again,
fix it as you go. Fix it as you go. So like I had to do this with this whole new business I started, and I was like, shit, I don't have DocuSign. It's so easy at Toll Media because I have DocuSign.
Right.
Fuck. So like I went online, I just literally ripped and I'm not going to recommend this because you could screw yourself legally, but I just ripped a template online, and I understand business law to an extent from 4 or 5 years of writing these contracts.
Mm-hmm.
So like I know what to put, kind of like what to add. But if you were trying to move quick, what I did is I just grabbed the template, and I didn't use DocuSign. I just sent it to him. I again wouldn't recommend that. Like if you can afford DocuSign, do it. When I started this project, I couldn't afford DocuSign. Or PandaDoc, whatever you're using, doesn't really matter. I personally like DocuSign just because I've always used it. But point is, like, DocuSign is great because it'll increase your conversion rate because it makes it easy for them.
Right.
But you're going to run into these little things. My biggest piece of advice is just don't do it perfect. Fix it later. Like right now, the client that I have, the marketing client, is paying my personal bank account still. He still pays my personal bank account. I have a business bank account set up now. So probably the next payment I'll start having him pay the business bank, but I didn't have a business set up, didn't have a business bank account, didn't have any of that shit. But I can fix it now. Now that like I have the money to do it and I have I can fix all that stuff. So I have friends that are really good at this. They make total fucking messes of their business. Like these people have done millions of dollars in revenue with their e-commerce businesses. And I got to see like the inside operations of their business when I was running Toll Media. I lived with a bunch of buddies that were really big in the e-com space. And it was really cool to see how some of them operated, where they're just a jumbled clusterfuck of let's just do shit and fix it later. And it's a mess to fix later. But they were so fast to move on things that's why they ended up being successful with their businesses. So they get to the point where they're doing $100,000 in revenue a month, total mess, but then they'd go and clean up the mess. It took more effort and stuff, but they wouldn't be where they were at if they were like taking their time trying to do things perfect. Right. So for you starting out, do whatever's easiest, because when it comes to closing deals, the more time that you let things sit, because like, oh, I got to get this contract perfect, or I got to get that, you're going to decrease your conversion. You got to get that contract out as quickly as possible. You got to get the money as quickly as possible. You're giving the client more time to think about, okay, should I move forward or not? And the more time, again, you're gonna just hurt yourself and decrease conversion. On this first client, screw it. Like if something goes wrong legally and they don't pay you, which if you're doing prepayment, you're totally fine, then it's just your first client, big deal, whatever. You're gonna have a lot more clients down the road. So don't let those things hold you back. Because if you have someone ready right now, you got to get something out to them so they can pay. Even if the subscription's not on yet, just hit them up every month to send you the payment, and then later set up the subscription.
Right, that makes sense. Would you go through? So like, given that, I mean, one of the things that we're probably going to end up doing is focusing also on developing WordPress websites for companies, and probably charging like an initial fee. So like when we're, some companies are on like GoDaddy, website builder, things like that, and it's really hard to actually optimize something like that.
Yeah.
And then also, eventually down the line, like we probably actually want to host the sites, and then that'll make it a lot more sticky with these customers. What do you, I know you're all about outsourcing, and I mean, I agree with that. Like, I don't want to do the work, but I do. A piece of me feels like the more I understand the process, like the more I understand WordPress and like Elementor, website building.
Oh yeah,
I feel like I should educate myself on this stuff.
100%. Don't get this confused. I would definitely understand these things. Like, don't like just not learn it. Okay. What I don't want you to do, so you need to learn as much of this as possible. What you shouldn't be doing though is you're actually developing the WordPress site. You shouldn't be developing the site.
What about the first one to like learn it?
Yeah, if you want to learn it, then do that. Now, the other thing to consider is figuring out the role that you'll have versus your partner. Is your partner the one that, because like the vice versa of what I had originally, what I say is for someone that runs the business themselves. Like if like Toll Media, I don't have any partners. My skill set is in doing sales, getting new business, hiring people, etc. I have people at Toll Media that run kind of the technical, but when it comes to product, I understand product development very, very, very well. So like my high level of product development is like I have an expertise in that. That's what I've been doing for the last, I want to say 6-7 years. I've been building tech companies. That's how I got into building products for other people. So again, there's a very high level of expertise of product development. When it comes to actually writing code, I would never go and try to write code.
Right.
I would never do that. But I can get on a call with someone and say, okay, this is exactly, don't build the app this way. You want to use React Native versus using Firebase for your backend versus building it out with Node.js versus whatever. So like that type of stuff I can do. Again, I'm not going to write the code. In your case though, if you have a partner, if one of you guys decides to be, we'll call it the technical of the business, and the other person is building the business on the biz dev side, the other person's building out the technical side. You need that. You need the business and the technical. So if, let's say, your partner becomes the SEO guy and the website guy, or you become that, one person should be focusing on building the business. The other person should be building the team and the operations on the technical delivery.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, kind of like, I mean, I guess high level is kind of like sales and marketing versus fulfillment, kind of, right? Versus
Yeah,
operations.
exactly. And now, with that being said, you need to still understand at a high level everything you guys do. Like, you should not understand the high level. Like with product development, it'd be hard for me to get on a call and close deals and give the right recommendations if I didn't understand things at a high level. I would need someone else. So like, I would still really understand the high level. That means talking and communicating with your partner. That means like maybe getting in and screwing around a little bit. But remember, the more you screw around with building WordPress sites or doing that type of stuff, the less time that's gonna steal time from you building the business. Now, with that being said, that, you know, what I would want to figure out if you're going to be the business side is, I would want to figure out, okay, how do I learn these things as quickly as possible? And a lot of that is just having constant conversations with, say, your partner who maybe heads the technical, or if you hire a senior, I don't know, we'll call it, I don't know what they call it in the world of SEO, someone to run the SEO for your business or the website development. Have constant conversation with that person is going to build up your technical expertise. So like, for me, a lot of my technical expertise that I have is probably 1,000+ hours of conversations with my developers.
Right.
So just be aware of those things, because that's how I would approach it. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it's good, man. Yeah, I appreciate it. That definitely answers it. Yeah, we need to kind of, I mean, I think he's a little more technical. Neither of us is where we need to be in terms of if we're actually doing it. But no, that's helpful.
For sure. Well, if you have more, we can answer them in a second here. I just want to get to some of these questions because we do have some people here. So let's see here. Let's see. So Connor asks, do you think you should have a very good business plan, or just put something out there? And what? I'm not sure what the last part is, but I get what you're saying, Connor. So I'm not about business plans. I think it's good to sit down and go, okay, what do I want to do? Don't sit down and just write out a business plan day after day, week after week. I think, Connor, if you're getting into business, what I would suggest doing is going and finding people that run the same type of business that you're looking to start, get them as mentors. Now, let's say, like in Brandon's example, he's starting an SEO agency. Brandon can get a lot of value out of talking to someone that runs a marketing agency or a development agency or any agency. Agency operations are the same. It does not matter what type of agency you run. It could be a dev agency, a law firm, an accounting practice. Agency operations are the same. The only difference is the technical. So get some mentors maybe that don't run the exact same business. Also get some mentors that run the same business. Like, a lot of the early success that Told Media had was because I got mentors that ran development agencies that were significantly more successful than Told Media. Hope that answers your question. I'm a wing type of guy, by the way. So that's where I lean. Aleska asks, will this stay on the channel? Yes, every single live stream is saved on our YouTube channel. And then we also have a podcast that comes out that's a recording of the live stream. You can check it out on all podcast places, the comeback. Okay. Another question. What are you working on for the coffee business? So right now, TikTok ads was a miss. So what we're doing right now is we're going really hard on our social strategy. So we're getting a lot of social stuff done today and this week, and then influencer campaigns. So I'll let you guys know how influencer campaigns work out. I have a feeling they're going to work out pretty well. I've seen a lot of success with influencer campaigns if you do it correctly and pick the right influencers. So I'm really excited to start working with influencers and actually see for myself. What's up, Paul? How's it going, man? Of course, Aleska. Okay, cool. So if you guys do have more questions, just feel free to drop them in the chat. All right, Brandon, what other questions do you have with the new business, where you guys are currently at, and new clients?
So, Mike, would you benefit from getting more customers from online without having to pay for ads? If so, boy, do I have a product for you.
Well, I know you've been going back and forth with me in terms of like the script. Did you test out the script that I sent you?
Yeah, I did. So I mean,
By the way, did you see how basic that is? It's
yeah,
so
and
basic.
I've been going more along the lines of sort of what you said about not actually sticking really with the script, but sort of more just talking. And what I kind of figured out was when I call and I just what I've really figured out, probably my like biggest revelation was the power of follow up. So like even follow ups where it isn't
So
even
important.
like relevant. So like I'll call and someone will answer and it'll be Don, and the person's name's Don. And I find out I need to find Richard. And the way I do it is I'd be like, hey Don, it's Brandon from One Relevance. Who's leading your guys' marketing now? And I find that that does a lot better than like, can I speak with who's in charge of your marketing? Where they're like, no. So at least then I get the name, and then usually I'll end up like converting to an email or something, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's Richard. Oh, it's okay, great. Is Richard available? No, go screw yourself. Okay, great. Thanks, Don. Like, have a great day."
Well, so I know that you were saying like it's a little bit like cold calling sucks. It definitely does. But like for me, I actually love that. Like when someone said like go fuck yourself, I was like, I don't know why I took so much enjoyment in like the negativity. I thought it was funny because I was like, holy shit, people are so miserable.
Yeah.
But what I noticed though, for everyone listening, because I had never cold called before, most people, and I don't know if your experience is the same, most people are super nice. Like I was blown the fuck away at how many people were like, yeah, let me go find them. Like 80% of people are like, yeah, let me find them. And I'm just like, holy shit, I can't believe they're just like introducing me to the person. And a lot of times they go find them and they come back and be like, here's an email, which was great because I just took the email and I put it in my sequence in HubSpot. But has that? I mean, that really helped me a lot with cold calling. Was I just like I remember when I started cold calling some accounting practices, they're so miserable, and I would just laugh. Like the funniest for me, what I got the most enjoyment out of when I'd be like, this is how I always start off every conversation. I always want to get their name and I write it down immediately. I'd be like, hey, how's it going? And they'd just be like, what do you need? Whatever. And I'd say, I'm looking for the person in charge of marketing. But the first thing I'd say is, hey, how's your week going? Say something like that. I don't know. It's in the script. And they'd be like, good. And they don't know I'm a salesperson yet because it's the very first thing that comes out of my mouth. And they're just like, good. And I just start laughing every time. I can't believe how many people are just so miserable or just don't have the like EQ to like ask the other person how they're doing. And I could be a prospective lead. They don't know because it's the first thing that comes out of my mouth, which is, hey, how's your week going? I thought that was interesting. So again, I enjoyed that. And I saw that I found that the people that would respond just good and they wouldn't ask how I'm doing. Those are usually the people that they're just so miserable. And they're just like, hey, like fuck off. And then it's more funny. It's like, wow, this guy's so miserable, or this girl. Because most of the people, like 98% of people I called were girls.
Yeah, and usually I find like if they don't provide their name in the beginning, the call usually doesn't go quite as well.
Yeah, yeah,
quite polished.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, not even dialed into like they're introducing themselves, then it's probably not going to be a great call.
For sure. But I cut you off a bit. Sorry about that. Where were we heading?
No, I was just saying, I'll call and basically, Don said it's Richard, but he's not going to connect me with Richard. And then I'll call back and like Lucy or even Don will pick up a week later. And I'll be like, hey, Don, or hey, Lucy, I called and I was talking to Don the other week and he told me I need to speak with Richard. Is Richard available today? And all of a sudden I'm through to Richard. Like I'm through the next step. Like it doesn't matter that they just kind of told me like to screw off the first time. The fact that I can say a name, act really optimistic, I think I kind of trick them into thinking like that they liked me or something, or that we were doing business or something.
Yeah, it's incredibly interesting. I had people that I called, and the first time they were super nice, and then the second time they were super mean, and vice versa. The first time I called, they were super mean, and the second time they were unbelievably nice. So like it's kind of all about like how their day's going. What I also noticed, and this is really important, when my energy's high and I'm in a real good mood, I'm like, let's call, baby. Let's get blown out. Like let's get blown out a bit.
Yes.
I convert better because they can feel that energy through the phone. So when I'm cold calling, and again, this is the most important thing I took away from I only cold called for 20 hours total. I tracked it in HubStaff, 20 hours. That's it. And I was able to schedule the 15 appointments. All I was doing was I didn't care about like trying to make a sale. It was just like care about the person on the other line, Just be personable, see how their day's going. And literally, I wouldn't talk about like the marketing stuff until later. So it'd be like, hey, Jen, how's your week going? She'd be like, oh, it's good, blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, I would, as quickly as possible, try to find something to connect with Jen. And I'd use her name. So like once I heard it, wrote it down, would try to keep using her name as much as possible. And then once I was able to talk to the person who was like the gatekeeper, as quickly as I could, I would relate to them. So like a lot of times they'd be like, yeah, we're not really interested in SEO. Literally, this would happen a lot. We're not really interested in marketing. We hired people in the past and like they really sucked. And I was like, that's right there, relatable. Yeah, I totally get that, Tom. Like, there's so many SEO agencies that suck. Like it makes me furious. And then that person would go on a tangent about how much they suck, and I'd agree with them. I'd be like, yeah, fuck that SEO agency. And then all of a sudden he'd be like, you know what? Maybe we do need marketing services. This would always happen. Again, if you look at the script, I think what we offer is like a free marketing plan that we go over with them. So there's an incentive to get on the call where we kind of go over like, here's what the SEO plan is. So that's what I would do if I were you. And the last piece I'll talk about the cold calling is like offer like some form of like free incentive, and think about like, okay, if a company cares about SEO, maybe like be like, hey, we're offering a free SEO strategy session where we take a look at everything and we tell you exactly what you need to do for SEO. Tell them exactly what you're going to do so they can go do it. No one's going to want to execute on it. And that's where you come in terms of the service provider. So it's like, here you go. This is what we'll do on the appointment. Mm-hmm. Now, if you want to do it, you can go do it. That's the purpose of the call. But if you want us to do it, here's what we charge. It's not a lot. We charge. Now, this was important. So this definitely make sure you do, Brand. If you're going to charge, I don't know, $800, say we charge $1,000, but if you prepay, we only charge $800. So there's prepayment. So you're getting paid up front. So there's an incentive to pay up front. The next thing you need to do is, let's say you actually want to do $700. So then we have this really good special going on right now because of the holidays or whatever fucking reason, where if you sign up within the next, we're just doing this for the next 48 hours, where and you do this on the appointment, you sign up in the next 48 hours, we can do like a 10% discount, or we can throw in like a free website or whatever you come up with. But you need to use time sensitivity. You got to use time sensitivity. It's going to push people that are like on the fence to make the decision. So make sure that you're putting time sensitivity. That's something we didn't do very well because I wasn't the one doing the appointments. But I would have really pushed time sensitivity pretty hard.
Cool.
All right, we got a lot of messages coming through, so let's get some of these here. Okay. Okay, Paul says, hey, Mike, since you're into lean living, Bean Life baby. By the way, guys, we're going to get Bean Life shirts made for MDC eventually. We wanted to do it like months ago, but we just haven't had time. Can't wait to rep a Bean Life shirt. What sort of gifts do you ask for the holidays and birthdays? I actually don't ask for gifts, Paul. I'm not big on, I don't like receiving. I really like giving personally. So like, it's really hard for me. I never ask for gifts. I get a lot more enjoyment giving. So whenever people ask, Deirdre's probably in the chat somewhere here. She can tell you. Deirdre actually got me an awesome gift, by the way, which I think Kirsten, I don't know if Kirsten, you helped her with this. I'll show you guys. Hold on. It was recently my birthday. Give me a sec here. This is the coolest gift I've ever gotten. Give me one sec. All right, this is what Deirdre got me. Girlfriend of the year. So she got this box that says happy birthday, Mike. And then inside the box is a bunch of different presents, I guess, with like, they're like small gifts with a number on them. So like you can see it says 10. Okay. Pull this down. Give me one sec. Okay, so that's the birthday box. And then then I have all these cards that she made. So there was like a rules card that said, here's the rules of this this gift, and then every single card has something on it. So like this card says, open this number gift if you have a cold, which hopefully I don't get a cold because my dad's on chemo, but it was a rough day in the office, or open this when it was a rough day in the office. So then I open the card and there's a nice note and then it says which one to open, which gift to open. Super cool. So girlfriend of the year, just wanted to share you guys that with you guys. I don't know if Deirdre's in this live stream or not. She is. Kirsten says, I love the box. Kirsten, I don't know if Kirsten teamed up with Deirdre to tell her that idea or not, but it was super. Girlfriend of the year right there. Okay, so let's see. Aleska asks, what do you think about starting with dropshipping and transforming it later to the real e-com business? I love that, Aleska. Whenever you're starting any type of business, you want to be as lean as possible. You want to spend the least amount of money possible. And using dropshipping to test out what you want to sell, I think is an incredible way to and it's funny because I've been talking to Deirdre about this. I actually don't care about being super profitable with the coffee business. I care more about figuring out how to market, what it costs for us to acquire customers, getting our brand out there, and then we can always cut the cost later in terms of actual fulfillment and coffee, etc. Same thing with dropshipping. Dropshipping, you're going to pay a premium to dropship, but you can learn all these things. You don't have to put as much capital risk up front. You don't have to learn how to do fulfillment, all that stuff, but you get to learn more about your customer. You get to build a pixel. You get to learn how to market. I love starting with drop shipping. And then once you have, say you're doing 1,000 orders a week, you can always start buying wholesale and set up a 3PL and do it yourself. So I really like that a lot. So hopefully that answered your question. Paul asks, how do you use your phone? Like what apps on the home screen, what notifications you get, how to organize? I love this question. Any favorite apps or productivity tips? Apps, this is something I'm a little passionate about. So I like that you asked this. So on my phone, I do a couple things. Number one, this is super important. I hate seeing red on my phone, like in terms of like notifications. So the first thing I did, and you can see there's not many, but you can see on my phone here, there's not many red badges. So they're called badges. You can turn them off for any app. Now, any app that's going to send you 1, push notifications, and 2, badges that's spam, turn that shit off. They've made it very easy to do that. Turn that shit off. Facebook spams the hell out of me. All these social media apps spam the hell out of me. I turn it off. Only things that are important I have on. That's the first thing. The second thing is I bucket stuff into different folders. So you can see on my home screen here, we have utilities, money, home, file storage, social, travel. I put the most important things I use every day on the home, on the first screen, and then I think it goes up to like 3 screens. So that's kind of what I do. It's just, again, get rid of those fucking badges, get rid of unnecessary push notifications. And one thing I'll add to that, Paul, is also like unsubscribe to everything you possibly can that's going to be a bother to you, both in email and, again, push notifications. Hope that's helpful. Connor asks, can you list off the free websites or apps that you use, Hubstaff and stuff like that? Okay. Free websites. Canva is what I use for designing anything. That's free. Hubstaff, I think, is free just for yourself. I pay for Hubstaff because our whole Told Media team uses it. I have a lot of people that are on Hubstaff. We have like 25 plus people, I think, on it. So we do pay for it. But using it for yourself is great to like track your time and figure out how you're spending your time. Slack is free. Trello's free. What else? I don't know if there's too much else. Those are like the main things I use for free. I think like just Google, like whenever you need something, Google it, and like don't go too crazy with like, oh, I need all these tools. But Slack, Trello, and whatever else I mentioned. I don't know if there's, Deirdre, I don't know if you can think of any that we also use, but that's the majority of it. You know what? HubSpot CRM /HubSpot Sales, that's free. I use that. Some other really good free tools, now that I actually think about it, are Chrome extensions. So the first one is LastPass. I pay for LastPass, but they have a free version, which is awesome. Then also like an ad blocker. I use something called Video Speed Controller, which is amazing. And then Loom is awesome. Rocket Reach has a free version, which is awesome as well. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Paul actually just gave an awesome list. DocuSign, Slack, G Suite, Gmail, Trello, HubSpot. He got all these right. This is hilarious. It's almost like I read this. Paul's got my back. I appreciate you, Paul. Okay. I'm going to answer this question in a second. Before we do, Brandon, I don't want to keep you sitting here. It looks like we're getting bombarded with questions. Did you want to ask one last question before I get to the rest of these?
No, I wanted to show you the startup house.
Oh, you started a startup house?
No, I didn't start a startup house. My house flooded. So my family, I followed your example. I started a company and my kids moved out and my wife moved out. My business partner moved in. It's actually because our house flooded. So like all the walls are cut, cuts. And this is how our stuff looks.
Oh man, that sucks.
But here's the business plan right here, Mike.
Great, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Here's the business plan.
Well, hey Brandon, you can always reach out and hit me up if you have additional questions. But I appreciate you hopping on, man.
Yeah, it was great, man. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Just keep killing it, man.
Yeah. See ya.
See you later. I love Brandon. Brandon's awesome. I put in the work, baby. I promise you guys, we're going to talk to Brandon a year from now, and he's going to have a thriving agency. 2 years from now, thriving agency. All right, let's go back to these questions. I see someone is waiting in the room, so I'll let you in a second. In a second, let me just get to some of these questions, my man, and then I'll pop you in, Connor. So John says, I'm having problems what I should be charging for my corporate events. Examples are private parties. Again, selling my wood-fired pizzas to the public will be a good system to make this work out. Okay, great question. People are always confused about like, okay, what should I charge? What should I charge? What should I charge? Don't go too crazy about it. Figure out what is going to be most profitable for you, and then figure out what you enjoy the most. And like if you're doing corporate parties, they're very profitable based off what I know from other restaurant owners that I'm friends with, my cousin. Corporate events do amazing profit-wise. There's no reason you can't do both. So in terms of what should I charge, I would just personally, if it were me, I would start something that's like on the like average to lower end. And then as you do more and more corporate parties, maybe increase prices. That's how I'd go about doing that. But you can't go wrong. As long as you're making money, then great, right? You can always increase prices later. Okay. Oh, man, we got a lot of questions today. I see that we got 2 people now that are going to be joining. I think we're going to go a little over time today. Give me 1 second. Abdul asks if there's any way. Yeah, Abdul, I'll get you in a second. We have Connor as well. Kirsten says, I love the box. That's hilarious. Let's see. Paul said, perfect. You had the box right there. Yeah, it just worked out. Paul says his phone's minimal, which again, inbox 0, minimal. I love that because you don't want too many distractions, especially when you're running a business or multiple businesses. It gets tough. All right, 2 more questions on here, and then we're going to bring on Connor, and then we're going to bring on Abdullah. Okay, so Aleska says, haha, I worked in LastPass as a tech support for 1 year. Okay, cool. Super cool. Stopped working this summer when I decided to hop into dropshipping e-com. Super cool. And then Brandon, if you're still watching, Paul said drop a link so everyone can kind of see what you're working on. Get you some exposure for the SEO business that you're running. A lot of cool entrepreneurs that could check you out. So drop a link, Brandon. Okay. So I'm going to bring Connor on here. Let's see. Connor, what's going on, man?
Hey, Mike, can you hear me?
Yeah. How you doing?
All right. Good. How are you? I'm actually in class right now, so we left that.
I love it.
Second.
I love it, Connor. What
ironic. So
what can I help you out with?
So starting a business where I take old people's fishing lures and make them into new ones, and I'm having issues trying to be, because in order to do that, you have to have a mold to make them into new ones, and so without getting copyrighted, I have to figure out a way to have to use somebody else's mold. So I'm thinking right now to like DM a bunch of people and just ask them like, hey, do you want your name on this business to use this so I can use your mold? And then you get a certain amount of profit from that.
I love that. I think that's a great idea. What you can also do, how old are you, Connor?
14.
14. Dude, that's freaking awesome. So what you could also do is I would play the fact that you're 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 as long as possible. People want to help out all entrepreneurs, but people love giving back to younger entrepreneurs. So I would reach out to companies. Like, dude, if you reach out to 20 lure companies right now, you DM them, you cold email them and say, hey, my name's Connor. I'm 14 years old. I'm trying to start a lure fishing where we make lures. I think you messaged me. So like you're trying to like recycle lures.
Yep.
And just be like, I really need some help. I could really use some guidance. And most importantly, I'm really looking for someone that has a mold. Do you know anyone that you could introduce me to where you get, I would say like, where do you get your molds? And they might be like, hey man, we have some molds that we can share with you or give you that we don't use anymore. Now, as you build that relationship, then if they're not willing to like maybe give you some mold, I would just ask them like, hey, could I work with you guys, leverage your mold and give you guys a percentage of profit? Just make sure you're not getting screwed or raked over the coals. It's important to talk to a couple different people.
And then I thought if that doesn't work, I could have them do it for me. So like they would have all the molds on them, and then I would just like we could have, because I live in Minnesota right now, so it's all the lakes are frozen.
Sure. Okay, so you're saying like you have the storefront, people buy from your storefront, then they do everything and send the order out.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah, they have the me, but then I market their product for them in other ways.
I think that's great, Connor. I think you need to figure out what is it that you want to learn. If you'd go that route is going to be speed. Like if you get someone to say yes to that's going to be speed, because then you can just focus on marketing and you can just focus on like product and things like that. So I think that'd be amazing. You won't have to deal with fulfillment. You won't have to deal with shipping. There's a lot of crap you'd have to learn doing that, which is great. But if you want to just move quickly and get this thing off the ground, if you can find someone to partner with, that'd be incredible. They can handle all the fulfillment, and then you can just learn things like Facebook ads. You can learn outreach, sales, marketing, whatever it is you're going to do to sell these molds.
Yeah, that's it, Mike. So you helped out a lot right there.
Well, yeah, I hope that's helped. Connor, just feel free to DM me if you have any more questions. I'm always happy to help out. Again, leverage the fact you're 14. Hit up like 10, 20 people. I promise if you just telling them that you're 14, you really are passionate about the mission behind recycling these, you're going to get some people that are going to really want to help you. So just, I know you're working hard over there. So just send those emails and DMs on social, and I guarantee you someone's going to help you out.
All right. Thank you, Mike.
Also, by the way, someone said drop a link. So if you do have a link, make sure to drop it on YouTube and some people will check you out.
All right. Thank you.
Cool stuff, Connor. Thanks for hopping on.
Yep.
Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so now we got Abdullah. I'm going to bring him live to answer some more questions. Okay, so Brandon, if you guys do want to check out Brandon, it's onerelevance.com. I don't know if that's like a spam thing they have turned off or what, but onerelevance.com. Okay, Abdullah, hopping you in.
Hello, can you hear me?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Great, how are you?
Doing great, man. Doing great.
So first off, I just want to say I appreciate you a lot. I've been seeing your content since the start, and I've been applying your information consistently from, working for free, from before I get into that, I actually do a marketing agency. But yeah, working for free, reaching out to mentors, and applying the information that you have in your free course. But I think my first question is, it's in regards to time management.
Okay.
I have an issue with this. I have a lot of things going on. So I'm working a retail job right now. I have two clients at the moment. I got one this month, and I'm on a monthly retainer for around $300, and that's subject to increase over time. I also have a free client that I'm working for, which I was working for a couple of months ago to kind of understand Facebook advertising and Instagram advertising. I got a job at the internship, like, so I took your advice for the mentoring, and I got a mentor, and I was working under his company as an internship to kind of understand how the flow of marketing through Facebook ads and Instagram, whatever. And he offered me a job, so I'm working there. I also have school, and I have a couple of clubs. So I feel like I want to what my mind and what my gut is telling me is I should drop the retail job, and continue going with the entrepreneurship journey, work building my business, trying to get more clients, and work the marketing job, the marketing company job. So what do you think? Should I completely drop my job, my retail job, and just keep on going? Or
Yeah. So I guess I need a little more context behind that. So the first off, are you in college or high school?
high school? Yeah.
Okay, high school. That's incredible, dude. You know what's funny? I got my first client when I was in high school too. And I remember the first check I got, I was like, holy shit, this is so
Yeah.
cool. You know, it was actually an SEO client. Believe it
Really?
or not. So Brandon did a little SEO back in the day. I actually knew a lot about I was ranking sites that was like one of my, it was like my second business. But
Yeah.
okay, so you're in high school right now. Are you senior in high school?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So then retail job, that this comes down to like supporting yourself financially. So like, are your parents supporting you right now, or do you need any type of finances to survive?
No, I just kind of got the job so I could accumulate capital for the business and reinvest.
Love
But
it.
I'm looking at it now, and I don't really have anything. Like, I don't have expenses. I think I just got the job out of fear, like that. No, something might happen. And I'll have the
For sure.
money allocated.
And
for a rainy day.
that's great, by the way. Like, it's great to save. It's great to build up capital.
Mm.
What I would say though is what I would really measure here is growth and learning.
Mm.
And it's great to have the retail job, but if you're starting to get clients, and it sounds like you have 2 clients right now, you just got this internship that turned into a job. That's is it a paid role?
Yeah, now it's a paid role. Yeah.
Awesome. So you have this paid role. If you know that you want to be doing social media or marketing or whatever that is, retail is not helping you very much to learn any skill sets to get you to where you want to continue to grow. So at the point where you're not getting that learning and growth out of the retail job, and if you don't need that money to support you financially, my opinion would be if you know you really want to build a marketing agency, go all in on it.
Okay.
Now again, the finance part needs to be figured out. Like right now, your parents are supporting you. If they weren't going to, in a future date, you need to save up money. Then you got to be aware of how much money do I need to live, which most people don't need a lot, especially at your age. When you start getting a mortgage and a car payment, all this other stupid shit, then you have expenses. But in your situation, if you can live with your parents for the next 3, 4, 5 years and just save up money and not really spend much, then you can focus all that time and energy on the marketing business. So based off what you told me, I'd be focused on that marketing business, man. Like, you already have what I love about your situation, you work for free, right? Which is a lot of people I know that don't believe in free work. I think it's total bullshit. You're living proof of it. If you didn't work for free, you reach out for mentoring and then work for free under this person. And this, now what that did is it gave you the opportunity to show this person your worth. So you learned all this cool shit, and this person went, this guy's awesome, I need to pay this person. That's what happened. So now you're getting paid to learn, which is the best position to possibly be in. The question is, are you learning what you want to be learning at the marketing agency?
So I think the great part of about like the opportunity that I got at the marketing agency, he said, do whatever, because I have some knowledge of marketing. I've been doing this like for around 2 years. I think I started off with like trying to grow social media pages and all that kind of stuff. So I played a lot of like video games when I was younger, and one of those video games was Fortnite, and I created like a Fortnite page, and I grew a Fortnite audience or something like that, and I think I grew an Instagram page to like 12,000 followers. I grew an Instagram page to 12,000 followers, and I loved the marketing side of things, right? And creating the content, all that kind of stuff. So when I started seeing your content, I was like, wow, I could like, turn this into something else. Like I want to learn more about helping businesses grow. So I do have knowledge in that, and he lets me kind of do whatever I want in that space. So yeah, I guess I get to do what I like at the marketing company.
So if that's the case, if you can replace the retail stuff with the marketing agency, replace as much of it as possible. Now, if it comes down to a financial thing, if you're like, I don't actually need the retail job, then you can just continue working the same amount of hours on the marketing agency and then start your own agency, right? Start getting clients and bringing capital that way. That'll very quickly replace the retail stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing to consider is if you're able to, if like you really care about getting cash flow, and maybe you can increase your hours with this guy and be like, hey, I want to quit my retail job. Would you be able to give me more work if I went and spent more hours with you? That's one thing you could do. But if your goal is really, I want to grow this agency, then again, if it's me, I'm working with this guy, learning, getting cash flow from that, and then almost treating him as a client, like an agency client, and then going and getting more business. So you're in a great position because you get to pretty much get paid to learn with a company that maybe already has a lot of clients while still building your agency. It's an incredible position to be in. So I'll give you a lot of props for that. You took a lot of action here. What is your goal right now? Is your goal is that you really want to build a marketing agency?
Yeah, 100%. I want to go fully into the marketing agency. I want to be able to scale it up because it's something I actually enjoy, after working with, the one or two clients that I have. Yeah, I do want to scale it up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So then if that's the case, I would, again, if you've gone through the course, figure out who you want to work with. What do you do? Who do you do it for?
Yeah.
So like in Brandon's example, he does SEO for I don't know who, but let's just say he does SEO for chiropractors.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. If I were you, you do XYZ for this type of person. And that doesn't mean you have to say no to everyone. Like if you do SEO for chiropractors and a doctor comes by, or a doctor's a bad example, a lawyer comes by, you could definitely say yes. And in the future, you could always launch like your lawyer services as well and start doing it with lawyers. Or you can also have another website that's like you do stuff for everything, and you could still like market that business or that DBA. So
I'm focusing on primarily Facebook and Instagram ads, so paid traffic and like organic growth. So like Instagram content and Facebook content. I'm just focusing on that. So I've narrowed it down to that.
Well, that's awesome, man. If that's your thing, I would throw up I mean, if you think about like if you're telling people like, hey, I crush Instagram content, you probably want to be producing your own Instagram content and start talking about the platform, start talking about how to grow on the platform.
Okay.
And just get in front of the people you need to get into. Because what's going to happen is when you do outbound, any types of outbound, it's funny because the lawyer client that I have is Mike Scott for this project. We just talked today and he's like, hey, all these people are reaching out to me and saying how awesome my content is that you're helping me do. And I'm in this management group and I'm about to like send you their way. Cause a lot of people have asked like, who's the guy doing all your stuff? So now he's going to refer all this business to us, and his content that we're putting out is kind of like our portfolio almost.
Yeah.
But then what ends up happening is if those people come and they because of the project, they can't come and like look at my personal Instagram. But after this project's over, or if we've been talking internally about offering our services as MDC, like the social media services. My Instagram is a reflection of what we can do for other people. So I'd make sure that your Instagram or your channels can reflect that. So
Okay.
you got two things, that and then also the portfolio you're building with your clients. So just make sure you're doing as good of a job as possible, because people are going to see that and then they might reach out and be like, hey man, they might reach out to your client, who the fuck's doing this shit and getting you these results. And then that's how you kind of build the business. A lot of agencies are built off referrals, which isn't a scalable way to build, but it is a good way. You always want to be putting out good work. So, but yeah, man, I'd go all in on marketing if that's what you feel like you're really passionate about. I would say for retail, and you'll replace the income really quick, depending on how many hours you're working.
Okay. All right. Could I ask a couple other questions, or?
Yeah, absolutely.
So another question I have, so one of the clients I have is a client that I'm working for free, and that client I'm not really putting too much time, but what exactly should I do? Because he doesn't really have any plans on paying me at all. And it's been like a couple of months already, and I don't really know what to do. I've been spending around 4 hours a week on it, and I'm trying to minimize the time. Should I be clear with the person? Should I talk to them?
For sure. And also, like, don't always assume things. Like that client might be like you might not know this, but and you could be totally right. Like if you're feeling certain vibes, and maybe you're 100% sure they don't have budget, but they also might be like, dude, Abdullah's crushing it, man. This guy is doing awesome. And then when you communicate with them and you're like, hey, I can't do free work anymore, they might be like, fuck, Abdullah, how much do you want to keep working with us?
I've already had that discussion, so I've like talked to them before. It's funny how I say this, because I had this discussion yesterday with him, and I talked to him and said, like, you know, I'm having trouble like with doing this, and he said that continue doing this, I guess, and I'll give you opportunities. He said he has a friend who's a dentistry, and he could possibly recommend me there, with like a dentistry client. So what I'm really asking, like, should I continue like to keep on working with this guy, or should I just I don't know, like
shut it off? Yeah, that's a great question. So at some point, you don't want to always just be working for someone for free. Like working for free is only valuable if you're getting value out of it in some way, shape, or form, in terms of learning, in terms of growth, in terms of networking connections, in terms of portfolio, in terms of opportunities for new business. If you're not receiving those things, then the answer is absolutely shut it off, especially once you can go spend more time getting actual clients, doing that type of stuff. So I would just be like straight up with the person that you're working with and be like, I would also, it sounds like they could potentially sign a contract potentially. What are you doing for them right now?
So I'm running their Facebook ads. It took a long time for me to convince them, but I was able to run their Facebook ads, and I'm running their Instagram page.
Okay, great. So there's something in sales where you can create, I don't know what the word is, but like, it's kind of like dating. Like if there's a girl that you really like, and you're constantly chasing the girl, right? And constantly chasing the girl, and then one day you're like, you kind of stop chasing, or like you like someone else and you maybe start talking to someone else. That girl's actually gonna want you more because you're not chasing. So it's the same in business, where if you're working with someone, and this is how I would phrase it. What's the person? Well, we don't have to go over his name. We'll say his name's Jeff. If you just have a conversation with him and you go, hey Jeff, I've loved working with you. Unfortunately, and this is how I would phrase it, I'm getting totally bombarded with new clients that want me to run their Facebook ads. So I'm going to have to cut ties with this, but I'm not going to leave you hanging. We'll like dwindle it down over the next month or however long. It could be a week, 2 weeks, whatever. Whatever you decide. But what's going to happen is, if the conversation goes, I'm getting bombarded with stuff. For some reason, I can't think of the word, but it's demand. Like, it shows that you're in demand, and then you're leaving. That person's going to go, shit, well, I don't want Abdullah to leave. everyone wants to work with Abdullah. I need to work with Abdullah. That will increase the probability of him turning into a client. Now, what I'd also mention is consider the fact that that's going to increase your value in terms of that person's perception. If you say like, I'm getting all these clients, that goes, this person knows what they're doing. So that's the first thing I do. The second would be like, actually consider, do you actually like working with the person? Now in the early days of running a business, sometimes you have to make sacrifices with like who you work with. I'm at the point now where I really don't do that. If I don't like working with someone, I'm not going to work with them. It's not worth the headaches. So I get a feeling that this person might be kind of shitty to work with.
Yeah, that's something else. I'm going to be 100% real. I don't enjoy working with them because there's a lot of control that I kind of lose. Like there's some things like I'll suggest like running this like Facebook ad, this style of Facebook ad, and I'll get denied. Or I want to try this type of creative and I'll get denied. And a lot of the time I don't really have that leeway to do stuff. So that's another thing. Like I don't necessarily enjoy working with them too much.
If you don't enjoy it, definitely stop working for free if you're not getting value.
Okay.
What I would also consider doing is if you're like, I don't want to work with this guy, like he has too much control over what I'm actually doing. Well, then it's not like, okay, totally cut the person. I would say then it's like, okay, how much money are you willing to get paid to continue working with the person? So like for me, if a shitty client comes through, depending on how shitty the client is, it's just like, nope, we're definitely not working with that person. But if I see someone's going to be really annoying and a frustration and not enjoyable to work with, we'll sometimes have an internal conversation. Be like, okay, let's just charge them this. And if they say yes, great. If they say no, also great. So that's something to consider too, is like, okay, I don't really love this person. I'm not going to love working with them, but I'd work with them for $2,000 a month.
Okay.
I'd figure out what that number is. But again, have that conversation. Just be like, hey man, just be straight up. Like I've been getting so many leads, and I have a lot of clients that I've been onboarding over the past couple months to their Facebook ads, and so I'm not gonna be able to continue working with you for free. But if you would like, if you saw the value in what I was doing, I'd be happy to talk about maybe bringing you on as an actual like paid client. But if not, no hard feelings. I've really enjoyed working with you on this.
Okay. Another question. This is my final question.
You're good.
My bad for taking so much.
Oh no. Trust me, there's a lot of people watching that have the same exact problems with their agency. A lot of people run into the same thing. I've heard it over and over again. So it's helpful.
So my next question, it's about college. And I don't necessarily know how I should deal with this. Because I'm personally thinking about taking a gap year, and in that gap year, just go hard at business. I'm still going hard at business, but my personal motivations, I kind of find myself not really connected to school too much, although I do decently well in it because my parents kind of tell me to. I don't have that connection with school, and I don't think it really teaches me anything valuable.
For sure.
Yeah, how should I go about doing that?
Yeah, so there's a couple things you have to navigate with this situation. One of them is parents. So I have a very I'm very opinionated about college. Now, that being said, I think that I have a lot of experience on this subject because number one, I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to go to college because it was fun, but I didn't want to go to college because I wanted to run my business. So I actually dropped out of college. So I went to college for a semester and I dropped out for a year and a half to run my business. So when I ran my business, I took a year and a half gap year. Business failed. To make my parents happy, I went back to college. You can always go to college. That's the best part about all of this, is like you can always decide to waste $100,000 in 4 years of your life if your parents really want you to do it. Now, with that being said, it's really a self-awareness thing. It sounds like you're very self-aware, at least with these certain things. It's really figuring out, is college something that I will get enough value out of? So again, I dropped out. I ran my business, didn't work out, went back to school. You can always do that. It's the best part about, like if you want to go to college, take that gap year, go super hard. Doesn't work out. Then you can maybe reconsider, is college right for me? Now you got to get your parents on board with that though. Because a lot of times they'll say, no, I don't see, like, especially right now with COVID, there's a lot of, because of TikTok, we got a lot of like younger audience following us.
Yeah.
And there's some people that I mentor that decided to take a gap year this year just because of COVID. Like my sister's at Penn State right now, and it's a fucking total waste of money. Like you're paying for $100,000 degree, you don't even get the benefits of college. The benefits of college are clubs, meeting people, the college experience of going out partying, having fun.
Yeah, that's one thing. I'm a very antisocial person. I don't like going out,
Fine.
so
yeah. So that works for you. But the point is, like, a lot of the good, what I got out of college, there's really three main things. One was partying. It was a lot of fun. I don't do that anymore, but it was a lot of fun when I was in college. But the other two things I really got, like, really made, I got offered $100,000 right out of college. I had a 6-figure offer to work in New York in banking right out of college. And the reason for that was because I was so heavily involved in clubs. Like and that was the best part about college for me. I was in the Nittany Consulting Group, which is a consulting club at Penn State. I was in a leadership role. I was in the entrepreneurship club. I was in the real estate investing club. I was in the investment banking club. And I was in leadership roles in a couple of these clubs, which took up time. Then outside of that, I also did a lot of competitions, business plan, pitch competitions, consulting competitions, stock trading competitions. This is where I gained the most value out of college. Those things are really awesome. And it is hard to find those things outside of college. With COVID going on, you don't get that shit. So it's like, in my opinion, I always have thought college is a total fucking waste of time. Now, absolute fucking waste of time and money, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it really is. Now, the only reason I got a really good job offer out of college was because of the extracurricular. On top, I did have a good GPA. I tried hard in college while running my business, while doing all that stuff. I worked super hard, but that stuff's super important. And if I was going to college right now, I would have a real talk with my parents, be like, fuck this. But to answer your question, so what are the parents thinking?
They think business is a joke. And that because one thing is my parents are immigrants, right? So they came to this country, hoping for a dream, that I'm successful, and they think college is the only way to be successful. So that's what they think. They think whenever I do something regarding business, whenever I talk to them about it, they're always like, oh, this is not going to work. Or, I would focus on studies and go with that.
So your parents, everything that they say or do is in your best interest because they love you. Yeah. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean that they're always right. There's a lot, like my parents, I was lucky because I had the opposite happen where my dad runs a business. He was always supportive with me running the business, but ultimately still wanted me to go to college.
Yeah.
And so I took that year and a half, didn't work out, went to college. In your case, again, parents' best interest in mind, I would have a real conversation with them though, because what truly matters is your happiness. That's what truly matters. And running a business versus going in a job is a very real thing. Like you can support yourself financially running a business versus going $100,000 in debt and doing all that crap. Wasting 4 years of time. I had someone that worked for me. His parents were super about college. I convinced him to drop out of college. He's a freshman.
Yeah, I've heard about the story.
You heard the story. Yeah. Works at Facebook now. He worked at Facebook. I think he signed his offer at like age 20, 21, something like that. He worked at Shopify at age 19, I think it was. His portfolio was incredible. His network was way better than any motherfucker that went to Penn State because he worked with me, built portfolio, worked at Shopify, then got a job with Facebook. So you can also go the corporate route. Less and less companies are actually like, you need a college degree now. The ones that are, they're super old school. They're going to lose in the long run unless they change how they do things, because the truth is college is a total scam, my opinion. But you have to talk to your parents and just be really real and be like, I know, you gotta be empathetic. Like, I know you want me to go to college because you love me and you want what is best for me. That's why you want me to go to college. I don't think college is best for me, but I really want to take a shot at business. And if things don't work out, then I'll consider going to college. or
Yep.
maybe, give yourself a year, give yourself 2 years, to just prove that maybe you make some traction, then go, hey, mom and dad, I'm making $5,000 a month now. Like, the shit's real. I don't need to go in all this debt. Or if your parents are paying for it, you don't need to pay $100,000 for me to waste time in a fucking marketing class taught by some fucking professor that doesn't know jack shit about marketing and never
Yeah.
actually marketed anything in their life. They just read textbooks.
So I've kind of already had this conversation with my parents. I've talked to them about this, and it's a bit weird because still, like, even if I were to make 9 grand or 10 grand a month, right, consistently, they don't care. Like, it's not reliable. Focus on college. So I am making that goal in which, I have that year or however many. I'm thinking about having that year where if I make 5 grand consistently or 9 grand consistently, I don't necessarily have to worry about college. But the thing is, I don't know how to deal with, if my business is making money, it's generating rev, and I think I have to go to college. The thing is, my parents don't care if I make money, right, with the business. So how would I go about doing that? Like, and I'm also making money. Like, what would I do there?
Yeah, I think eventually, like, this is all up to, I'm assuming your parents are going to pay for your college.
No, not at all.
Okay. Well, then it's not up to them. If you're, so then in that situation, if it were me, because my parents paid for my college. I was very fortunate parents that did that. They're like, we want you to go to college. They paid for my college, whatever. So if you're going to pay for your college, as long as you're living in their house, they're kind of making some rules. Once you move out, it's all up to you. I don't see, I could tell you're entrepreneurial. You're putting in the work. Putting yourself in $100,000 worth of debt, that is, if you think about it, is insane. It is fucking crazy. So I would figure out, how do you get the income that you need to support yourself? And then at that point, it's on you. Like, if you can support yourself financially, mom and dad really don't get a say. And eventually they might come around and realize. Now, what you got to consider is, look at all the people losing their jobs right now with COVID. Like, if it's like, oh, well, the business can fail at some point, then you don't have income. Well, you could also lose your fucking job. Like, guess what, Abdullah? If you are really good at fucking marketing, I don't give a fuck if you went to college. I want to see what you did, and then I'm going to hire you based off of this person knows what they're doing. That's how businesses think. Businesses' best interest is to be the best at whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
So they're going to hire the best people. Best people didn't necessarily go to college. They just didn't. Like, the best people, like the person that worked for me that now works at Facebook, who doesn't have a college degree, he was the best because he had 3 years of experience in what's called product. He worked on product, had real experience for 3 years. He didn't sit at a fucking desk and listen to idiot professors, put himself in all this debt. Instead, he did the opposite. He did the total opposite. He didn't make money maybe the first year, but then year 2 to 4, he's making all this money working at these companies, building this way better network than you build in college, building way better experience than you build in college, meeting all these awesome people, building his fucking resume. Like once he got that first job, it's done. Like, so that's another thing to consider is, like, if you do start doing marketing and at some point you decide to get a job, that job's on your resume. Shopify's never coming off his resume. Facebook, never coming off his resume. If I accepted Merrill Lynch would never have came off my resume. Now, I can get I get a role that probably pays really well just based off of building a company, a development agency to where I built Told Media to. Doesn't matter if I would have gotten a college degree or not. No one's going to give a shit unless it's some old ass company like Merrill Lynch that is going to lose in the long term if they don't change how they hire. Yeah, it's changing this stuff. So I'd really have again, your parents love you. That's why they think that college is the best thing. But the reality is you're going to put yourself in a lot of debt. You have the entrepreneurial spirit. Sounds like you have the work ethic. Sounds like you have everything needed to make a good entrepreneur and build your own business and set yourself up for success. If they're not paying for it, once you support yourself financially, it's all on you. So mom and dad don't get a say once you move out.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of hurts. Like, I don't want to, like,
I
I
get
want to, yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to like tear the relationship just because of that.
I wouldn't
in
tear the
future.
relation. That definitely don't do that. But
Mm,
again, you're the one paying for it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
If I had a kid and I was like, you got to be an entrepreneur, fuck college, and my kid went, fuck you, dad, I'm going to college and I'm paying for it, and like my kid moved out, support himself financially, put himself through college, which is the opposite viewpoint that I have. I'd be like, this kid's fucking awesome. I love this kid. So, but you, it shouldn't be in a harsh way. It should not be in a harsh way. It should be every conversation be like, I love you so much, parents, mom and dad. I love you guys so much because like you guys want the best for me, but I don't think this is the best for me. I need to do what I think's best, and I need to give myself a year. And then after that year, I wouldn't be holding myself to a year because entrepreneurship is a long game.
Yeah.
After that year, I'd know where I stand, and then know where I'd stand. Know where I stand. I guarantee you get a job if you really want. I mean, dude, you're not even out of fucking high school, and you got a job at a marketing. Like it proves you're on the right path, man. So treat everything knowing that your parents are coming from a place of love. Don't do anything that's going to like cripple the relationship, but also understand you're the one paying for it. You're the one setting yourself up. Like really consider those things, especially in the marketing world. You don't need a degree to get a job. So it's all experience. I promise you that.
I mean, really appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for putting me up on this live stream. You answered literally all my questions. And if I have any other questions, I guess I could ask you.
Okay. Yeah. Just DM me on Instagram. And if you just shoot me a message, I always respond. So shoot me something, and good luck with everything. Seriously, if you have any other questions, just DM me.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Cool. See you, Abdullah.
See you.
All right. So we got some more questions coming in here, and then we're going to end this because we are 30 minutes past. Let's see.